I mean, what do we even start with? Where do we go from here? Western Conference Finals, Game 6 is tonight. Thunder are up 3-2. This game is in San Antonio. As a Thunder fan, as somebody from Oklahoma City, I'm a little nervous about tonight's game. We've been here before is the good news. The Spurs team has not. And there are so many side stories, backstories, behind-the-scenes stories that we could talk about. I don't even know where to start. There's so many things going on around this series. I mean, you can start with the discussion and the narrative around the flopping, which, okay, I get it. It's annoying, but it wasn't annoying to anybody until the Thunder really got to the playoffs. And until it started gaining traction on Twitter and Instagram. If you go to a game and actually just go to a game, you don't really even notice. You don't notice the flopping. You don't notice this. It's amplified because of Twitter, all of social media, and replays on the broadcast and the announcers announcing the game is really what is stirring all of this up, and I get it. And if Oklahoma City wasn't even in the Western Conference Finals or defending champs, this wouldn't even be a discussion. But everyone needs a villain. Unless you're an Oklahoma City fan, then you're going to hate what Oklahoma City's doing. You're going to hate this brand of basketball, and it's ruining basketball. It's not. Go to a game. Go to an NBA game, especially a Thunder game, and then decide for yourself. And not only that, watch other teams play. They're not the only ones flopping. Have you heard of a guy named LeBron James? That dude's been flopping for decades. He's literally been in the NBA for decades. And he's been flopping the last decade and a half. So this isn't anything new. Flopping is not new. Trying to draw a foul is not new. It is part of the game. So take that for what it is. And it's funny, too, if you listen to guys who played in the NBA, they're like, whatever, get over it. Not all of them, but the majority of them for sure. But then you go to Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it these days. That's not real life. And I'm not just talking sports, everything. Politics, economics. I don't know about economics, actually. But politics and sports is not real life on Twitter. Everything on there is clickbait. Everything on there is for you to click their tweets or their... What are they? I'm going to call it tweets and Twitter. I don't care. Sorry, Elon. I love you, but not going to happen. It's Twitter. But this whole dialogue and nonsense is all clickbait. Everything that's getting views, like if you do a study of what's getting views and what people are watching and clicking on, it's clickbait for flopping, for the Thunder not playing right, not playing the way the game should be played, and da-da-da-da. I had somebody the other day text and say, this is why nobody's watching the NBA. Hey, bozos, the NBA has the most viewership in the last however long. Viewership is up. Viewership is up right now. So that whole narrative is out the window. 2025, 2026, viewership is up compared to what it has been the last several years. And I get it, last year's NBA Finals definitely was not for everybody. The state of Indiana versus the state of Oklahoma. I mean, the population of Oklahoma is like maybe 4 million, just under 4 million. I don't know the population of Indiana, but it's probably somewhere around there, maybe 5 million. I don't know. I don't actually know, but it can't be much more than 4 or 5 million. So you've got less than 10 million people in these two states, and that's who's in the NBA Finals. I get it. Viewership's probably down for the NBA Finals last year, but that's all going to change this year. But don't tell me that SGA is ruining basketball and the style of play the Thunder play is ruining basketball. Nobody's going to watch. Not true. Just factually, that's not true. There's more people watching the NBA now than there were the last several years. So I don't want to hear that. Maybe you don't like the style of play, but that's where we're at right now. And flopping has been happening forever. It's not new. It's just that we have social media and these boneheads on social media picking up on it and taking off with this narrative that, free throw merchant, which that's out the window. You can't call him SGA a free throw merchant when he's got less free throw attempts. And the Thunder in the playoffs aren't even in they might be now, but after the first round, they weren't even in the top, I think, 8 teams of free throw attempts. So take that narrative out. So what do you have left? You have Thunder team trying to draw fouls, but guess what? You also have a San Antonio's team doing the same thing. Wemby doing the same thing. Go watch the game with an unbiased opinion. Go watch a team game you don't care about, and you'll see that it's not just the Thunder. And then I love there's just so many stupid narratives out there that the Thunder get an unfair whistle. Man, watch the game and watch Stephon Castle guarding SGA. Do that for me tonight. Game 6, Western Conference Finals in San Antonio. Watch Stephon Castle guarding SGA when he doesn't have the ball. That's also what I think is ruining NBA. And it's not just against SGA. I'm saying league-wide, this whole grabbing players when they don't have the ball and not allowing them to get open and they have to push off or break free, that's not basketball. I don't know what we're doing. And I don't know if Adam Silver in the NBA has a fix for that. And sure, they're not calling it. And I don't know the exact rule in the NBA rule book, but that's unwatchable to me. When you can't let guys get open and you're holding them and grabbing them, but there's no whistle, that's what's screwing up basketball. It's not this whole whatever else you think it might be. That's one of the things. So, but it's the NBA and it's the playoffs. So again, there's not going to be whistles all the time. There's not going to be fouls called all the time. I get that also. I'd rather them let them play. There were so many fouls that have been called against both teams, but there was one called against the Thunder, and I was like, just let them play. Just let them play. So annoying, so dumb, and I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I think and hope the Thunder win. I just don't. The Spurs just are not there yet. They might be, but they also have to change their narrative. If you go listen to the Spurs post game and that kind of thing, they're talking about the refs and fouls and all this stuff. Oklahoma City doesn't do that. They move on. They don't care. Unfair whistles or not. Go listen to the post game interviews, and you've got Spurs players and coaches whining and moaning about the refs and the whistles. You had this with the Lakers series also. The Thunder don't do that. So until these other teams realize, game's over, you can't do anything about it. Or even during the game, the ref called it, whatever, it's over, move on, next play. And so I think the Spurs are young and inexperienced, and this thing should have been over anyways. Game 1 Thunder threw away an opportunity to win game 1, especially with the fact the Spurs let them back in it. First off, the Spurs should have won game 1 by 15 points in regulation. But then the fact it got to overtime, the Thunder should have won in overtime and they didn't. I mean, this series should already be over 4-1, but it's not. It's 3-2, and I think that Oklahoma City goes in tonight and wins. I don't think the Spurs have the mentality or the experience to win. And just they turn the ball over way too much for this to be even a close series. Wemby's playing too many minutes. I texted my buddies, my group chat of my buddies, and I don't think Wemby's in the NBA in like 7-8 years. Obviously, who am I to say this or predict this, but just the amount of minutes on that 7-foot frame, playoffs are a lot. Like, he was averaging like 28 minutes a game during the regular season. Now he's playing like 40 in the playoffs. That's not sustainable for him, I don't think. He's skinny. He's getting pushed around by Hartenstein. So, and that's, I don't know. I just don't see. So I think if the Spurs want to win their championships, it's got to be in the next 5 years, 4 years. But the problem with that is they've got the Thunder to deal with. They're going to have the Lakers when they're healthy, whether we like it or not. The Mavericks are going to be okay. You know, the Suns are the Suns. But I don't know who wins out of the West the next couple years, the next 5 years. But I mean, I think the Thunder are the favorites, obviously. And then you've got Lakers, Spurs. Everyone's crowning Wemby as the best player. Okay, fine. That's fine. Do that. I don't care. I mean, again, it's all opinions. You know, the game will decide for itself over the next several years and tonight in this playoffs. And there's just a lot of storylines with this. And then you have there's a clip of, you know, the end of game 5, Wemby's coming out. He whispers in the ears of his 2 goons. And then somehow, coincidentally, those 2 goons both take cheap hard shots on Jared McCain. And first off, Jared McCain should not have been in the game anyways. I fault Mark for that. Dingnalt. I can't say his last name ever. I fault him for that. Jared McCain shouldn't have been in the game, but also a learning experience. Jared McCain needs to get to the corners. Don't try to drive in. Don't just if you're in the game in the last 2 minutes and you're up 12, just get to the corners. You're a shooter anyways. So lesson learned, whatever, but I just think it's hilarious that happens. And two things. Take conspiracy theory or whatever. Did Wemby tell those 2 goons to do that? Maybe not. We don't officially know. It just appears that way. That's fine. Take it for how it is. You be the judge. But then Wemby dips out on the post-game press conference? Who does that? Who does that? Like, if you want to be the face of the league, and you got to be the bigger person, as Gary Vaynerchuk would say, be the bigger person in that situation. You got beat. You played horrible. Just go to the post-game press conference. I can't talk. Just take your licks and move on. Especially, it's hilarious that same day they had this whole big story that Wemby went and hung out with some monks and and look at him, he's like Kobe, he's going to hang out with monks. And then those 2 things happened the same night, with the conspiracy theory of him telling 2 guys to take out McCain and then not going to the press conference, which is hilarious. And then it's the Spurs, whatever. Greg Popovich never really treated the media well during post-game press conferences. You go back and watch some of those. The answers he gives to some reporters, you're just like, this guy. Don't get me wrong. Popovich is one of the best coaches ever. One of the best top 5 coaches ever. Just did not handle the media very well. a lot of the time. Go back and watch. You'll see what I'm talking about. And now you've got Wemby dipping out on post-game press conference after a loss. They're just soft. The Spurs are soft and inexperienced and young, and they'll learn from this series. They'll learn from these playoffs. Even if they beat the Thunder in 7, which I don't see happening, they're not going to beat the Knicks anyways. So I think the Thunder win the series anyways. Spurs learn from this. Then we have Thunder Knicks, which is great for the NBA. And then if you're a conspiracy theorist, of course the Knicks are going to win the NBA championship. They should. They haven't been in the NBA championship finals since 1999. That was last century. I was 19 years old. I had just finished my freshman year of college. The last time the Knicks were in the the finals. So, if you believe in conspiracy theories, the Knicks are winning the finals this year. There's no way Adam Silver lets San Antonio or Oklahoma City beat the Knicks in the NBA finals. It's going to be a heavily watched series, unlike last year when you've got the Knicks in the finals against hopefully the Thunder. One of the smallest markets in the NBA, or the smallest market in the NBA, versus the largest. One of the, behind, LA and New York, but it's kind of fun if that's what happens. So I don't know. There's just so many storylines with this Thunder-Spurs. And then you've got, the other thing too, is you've got 2 of the Thunder's top 6 players out. Jalen Williams, number 2 player on the team. And again, he hasn't played a lot of the season. And then you've got AJ Mitchell, who filled in for him. He's out. And they're still beating the Spurs. So the Thunder are by far the better team. And the fact that the Spurs couldn't take advantage of that in game 5 with the Thunder missing 2 of their top 6 players, that's rough. And Jared McCain stepped up in that starting position. He took 19 shots. Huge for Jared McCain. So game 6 tonight, I like the odds of the Thunder winning, taking the series. I know it's in San Antonio, and I think San Antonio, last I saw, was favored by 3.5 in San Antonio. I get that too. They're probably going to get the calls tonight. I don't know who's on the whistles tonight. That's what I'm going to call the refs. Who's on the whistles in San Antonio? That seems to play a part. And we'll see what happens there. There's just so much. Then you have, today I just saw that Shea's lawyers sent a cease and desist to Underdog because of something. They have some game about flopping, whatever. Which I also think is hilarious that they're like, oh, SGA is so weak. I'm not so sure that SGA really had anything to do with this. What do I know, though? But I'm sure his lawyers for sure were like, no, we're not. We're going to send this cease and desist, which I don't know if they actually have a case against Underdog for this anyways. And it sounds like Underdog's not going to lay down. It sounds like they're going to just keep doing what they're doing, which... great. Just another thing we need during these playoffs for the Thunder. Another distraction. Forget the injuries. Now you've got whatever this cease and desist is. I don't know. Super weird. Whatever. Man, there's just so much happening with the Thunder and the Spurs. So the Knicks again swept the Cavs. That was ugly. And I don't think the NBA really likes sweeps, especially in the conference finals. That's not good for the NBA. Not good for Adam Silver. And so had that happen. And again, like I said, Knicks haven't been to the finals since 1999. So 27 years. Good for New York. Good for the NBA. But I'm excited to see what the storyline is coming out of tonight. And coming out of San Antonio. I'm sure that if the Spurs lose, they'll complain about the reffing. And if the Thunder lose, they will not complain about the reffing. And they will just say that there's some things they need to do better and get better at in Game 7. That's how the Thunder operate. They are a great organization, so will be interesting to see. But that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts.